So fast forward about 7 or 8 months or so, and at this point, the graphene's been running in Polybius all that time. Now, Polybius may look a little different to you, because at this point, I took out the Corsair Hydro X system, and I put this one together. So the DISTRO-PLATE, the GPU block, the new MSI board, but I did this a matter of weeks from the last time I actually filmed this video. So you may be coming off of maybe the montage and how the graphene looked on my open air test system, but now you can see it in Polybius. What I'm gonna do next is break down the system. We're gonna look at the graphene out of Polybius with the same liquid out of the same 1 liter bottle next to each other to see if it changed color, see if it broke down, things like that. Also, we're going to check out if it stained any of the tubing, if it stained the DISTRO-PLATE, the GPU block, the CPU block, so on and so forth. Also, real fast, let's talk about foaming. Yeah, foaming never went away with this liquid. Again, it's been in this system for 7 or 8 months, and we still have foaming. I'll talk about that too once we start getting into the liquid and how it's been for the last 7 or 8 months. So what I'm going to do now is drain the system, break it all down, put it on this table, and then we're going to compare the tubes with the same tubes I just didn't use in the system, and we're going to put it next to each other and see how bad the staining is. And this is the liquid that I did not use. It's still fresh out of the original Go Chiller premix stuff for, yeah, this stuff still, yeah guys, it's brand new. So, let's start. Well, you guys see it. This is our block disassembled. Now we can see if it stained any of the acrylic here, anything in the block itself where the surface fins are, or the fins. This blade thing that helps move water a certain way. We got our fan out too inside of there, the flow indicator. So yeah, let's see what did it do here. So what I see from the graphene is, I don't see any major staining. Let's take some alcohol to this. So as we can see, do not pay attention to the lasagna and the garlic bread. My wife just brought me food. It doesn't look like it stained this part. So yeah, it's not really gonna do any harm to this. But yeah, just wiped off with a little bit of alcohol. No big deal. I'm gonna take a break for my lasagna. And then when we come back, we'll take a look at next some other pieces. This is all 8 months, guys. So I don't see any discolorization or anything, you know, to talk about here. Next, we're gonna do this. And remember, after the 1 year, we're gonna do a 2-year test. So this is 1 year, pretty much. All right, so we finished our lasagna. Let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at the plastic piece, whatever this is, acrylic, whatever it's called. So this is the outside. This is the inside where there's actually liquid running across everything. I don't see no staining at all. I'll have everything nice and clean in a bit, but no, I don't see no staining whatsoever. Here's one of the channels. Looks good, especially where the gasket was. I don't see nothing in there. Gaskets look fine. Take a look at our fin stack. We're gonna clean that out too in a moment. But again, I don't see anything discolored, no oranges or anything like that. No oranges, no cherries. The blades look good. Next, let's take this out, clean it, and see what it looks like when it's fully cleaned. Alright, now it's time to open up the distro plate, even though we really don't have to, because we could see that there really wasn't any discolorizing. We could just run some sink water through here and then run some distilled water through here. But I have some areas I wanted to clean. These two in particular, I don't know why they're there. So we're gonna open this up and clean it out anyways, because I want these two things that are bothering me when I look at my system. Looks like 2 thumbprints, and I've washed it. So it's not here or there, it's inside the distro plate. So let's take this apart. So my iFixit screwdriver, like I said about the AAAs, it really just drains them. Now granted, I didn't use great AAAs, but I used it once and took out maybe 10, 12 screws. Well, tops out. We'll say 20 screws I did with this. Took them out, put them back. Fine. But once I leave it overnight, I literally had 2 brand new batteries never used. Dropped them in here. I think I tightened 4 screws with those. In the morning, they were dead. So again, guys, don't leave your batteries in this. I'm gonna reach out to iFixit because it does have a iFixit lifetime warranty. And I'm hoping maybe I just got a defect because I really did like this driver. Would have came in handy. Thank you, iFixit. So as we could tell, it did not stain our distro plate. So we're doing pretty good so far. So next, I'm just gonna clean this out while I'm here, and then we're gonna open up our GPU block because our GPU is gonna be our single most hottest component. I just wanted to show you guys how it looked after, just under the sink and a toothbrush. No discolorization whatsoever. So, pretty cool, right? Oh, and here's the pump. All I do is rinse the pump, but I end up putting it back inside of here, so maybe dirty again. But the pump looks great, but the pump is perfect. There's no hard, it's smooth, It's very smooth. It's not grinding. Now, I've been having problems with this pump, and I thought it was the graphene. I'll talk about that later. Excuse the audio, guys. I'm just gonna record this real fast. We're gonna look at the radiators just for a second. But we'll look at the main radiator, the 360. They're not separate loops. It's all one loop for CPU and GPU. I guess I'll leave it like this then. All right. Let's take a look inside, see what happened in here. So, I know you see that orange. That's how they were when I first got them. I've used treatments a few times. I think I used the PrimoChill treatment. So they were cleaned a few times actually, maybe about 2 times with that stuff on 2 separate occasions. So yeah, nothing here on the radiator. So yeah, well, this is the 360. Let's check out the 240. All right, that's the 240. There's still a little bit of liquid in here. I still got to clean them out. But really and truly, no, I see nothing here. All right, so radiators are good. I apologize about the audio again, guys. I'm just using straight off the phone. But check this out. These are the tubes that I pulled straight out of the system. I do not see any staining whatsoever, any discolorization. The gaskets seem fine. I don't see any deterioration. Inside the fittings seem perfectly fine, no issues. And I haven't even cleaned this stuff yet. And it looks, you know, perfectly fine. That's the fittings, that's this. And here, this is a brand new tube from the same exact set I just never used. Can you tell which one is the new one and which one is the one out of my system? Exactly. So yeah, the one on the top was the old one. Now we're going to look at the graphene itself. The graphene that was in my system for almost a year, and the graphene in the same 1 liter bottle that it arrived in. So there was some I did not use. I left just a little bit in there, just enough to make a comparison to see if it lost any color, you know, things like that. So I'm going to do my best to try to separate the two. And if you can't tell on the camera through your monitor or screen, however you're watching this, of course I'll give you a play-by-play and let you know if the color's different in any kind of weird way. I'm gonna feel it, touch it, love it. So let's get you guys closer. Let's check out our graphene now. I left the parts in here like the fittings and some other things in here from the system that still had graphene left in it because, you know, I was taking the system apart. So a lot of this got left in overnight and I washed it and like, yeah, you could take it out, but I couldn't do it with a napkin and water. So it looks like once it dries up, if you get it anywhere, you could pretty much do that. Maybe use some alcohol. Oh no, it will come off. And that's pretty much graphene anywhere. I've had it anywhere and I can pretty much just wipe it up. And it's usually, you know, doesn't stain anything. All right, let's go get our liquids. That is graphene out of the computer. That's the old graphene that's been sitting. And this is the graphene that was never used. If I could get it out of this thing. There we go. So, shiz. Well, I think we could tell the difference. So, I don't see any discolorization between the two whatsoever. This is the old graphene. That's the new graphene. So, the same there. Texture-wise, they feel the same. So pretty cool there. All right, so it doesn't look like it lost any of its color. It didn't break down in any weird way in the system. There was no like particles that the color may have dropped out and were like sediment resting at the bottom of, say, the pump or at the bottom of the tubes or in the radiator. I found nothing like that. So that's another good thing about this stuff. It doesn't lose color, at least not within a year. All right, so I'm gonna get this stuff put back inside the bottle and then we're gonna talk about what we found. We're gonna break it down real fast and just go through it real quick. And by the way, guys, excuse the shirt and the clothes I'm wearing. Usually when I do this, I just throw on clothes. I don't care if they're gonna get destroyed. Usually when you're using coolants that have a color, you could stain your clothing. So you want to try and put on something you know you don't really care about. So what was the outcome of graphene within a year? Pretty much a year. It was only a few months off, by the way. So what was the difference? All in all, I didn't see it break down anywhere. It didn't lose its color. It did not stain anything. Here's the block for my GPU. There is no staining whatsoever. No discolorization around the fin stack over here. No, that's pretty cool. Because usually you'll see that stuff start to turn. It'll tarnish and like turn orange and stuff. Dusting, things like that, I usually do every week or two. But a full cleaning is every 7-8 months. That's the maintenance you should do when you have a fully water-cooled PC. Then again, if your CPU is water-cooled or your GPU, really doesn't matter. If you're running a custom loop, you really should learn to start cleaning your loop out every 7 or 8 months or so. You really don't want to get to that full year regardless. Say that it did go to full year in this system and then it did stain. Well, if I would have took it out a few months prior and cleaned it, it would not have. So it's kind of good to try and get yourself in a repetitive state to cleaning out your water-cooled system every 8-9 months or so. All right, back to the graphene. Again, it did not stain any of our tubing. It did not hurt any of our fittings. You got a little bit inside the threads, but that's common. You take a Q-tip or a toothbrush and just clean those right out. But it did not hurt anything. It did not discolorize or anything to nothing, especially the DISTRO-PLATE. If you look at the DISTRO-PLATE, no issues whatsoever, not even a blemish. Pretty cool. You know, I see a lot of fluids do that. When I say I see a lot of fluids do that, I mean the more pastels, the more thicker colors. The light colors like the Corsair Hydro X stuff, the blues and the clears. No, those really aren't gonna stain anything. They're really light. They're basically just distilled water with just a little bit of coloring. This stuff is, yeah, it's kind of thin, but it has a weird density to it. It's hard to explain. Now, when I was cleaning out the GPU block, in the fin stack, when I was using the toothbrush, I pulled something out that was a little rubbery, stringy, you know what I mean? And I'm not too sure if that was from maybe the rubber bushings. After a while, they tend to break down. That's why you always have those black things in the water when you're doing your fittings and stuff. You'll always find little loose particles, little black particles, no matter the color fluid you're using, because those are the bushings, the rubber gaskets in your fittings, in your compression fittings. So I'm not too sure if that was it. And no, it did not harm the cooling. It was just one little piece that was in one of the fin stacks. So not really a big deal. But graphene in the long run seems great. Cooling wise, my temperatures never changed. From the day I put it in to today, the temperature stood the same. I never saw my CPU really rise too much above, and I'm talking my regular workflow. 65 degrees, 67 degrees Celsius. GPU, I never saw it go above 45 Celsius, 46. This is with a minor overclock, nothing serious. You know, it's a 3060 Ti. I pushed it all the way it could go. And that's all the 3060 Ti is hitting. I have about 600 millimeter worth of radiator, so a 240 and a 360, which is more than enough to overclock this entire system. I probably could do it all with just the 240 really and truly, because the 3060 Ti does not generate that much heat in the first place. But I have a lot of headroom, and the graphene has not broken down or lost its cooling capabilities. So all in all, if you're looking at graphene, definitely, if it's a certain block you're looking for and something a little bit different, definitely pick up graphene from Go Chiller. I'll put a link down below on where I purchased it from, straight to Go Chiller. And then I'll put a link down below for Amazon affiliate if they even have this. And if not, I'll put a couple other black liquids I've used before. Also, I'll put Hydro Corsair X coolant down below. Those are a lot lighter, closer to distilled. Now, does it really reach the temperatures they say, up to 7C? No. We saw that earlier in the video when I did the testing about 8 months ago, which for you guys is just a moment ago, but for me it's been 8 months. I didn't see no 7C drop. I think I saw about 3 or 4C, which is good. This is good. It's that little extra headroom that may keep your CPU boosting that much longer. So that's cool. But more or less, don't buy this for that. You're gonna buy this more for the color, the look, and maybe just say you have graphene in your PC. What liquid do you have? I have graphene. And then you can sit there and explain how it's gonna change the world, but it has not changed the world. And how two guys discovered it several years ago, but it was really discovered over 100 years ago. And how they got a Nobel Peace Prize or whatever prize they got, and the other guy didn't. Look it, you guys are all arguing semantics here. Is that the word I'm looking for? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I have in the last 7 or 8 months making it. I hope you guys subscribed to the channel, liked this video. Guys, please, this video took nearly a year to make. I would really appreciate if you guys like this video down below, share this video, or subscribe. Put a lot of effort into this one, guys. Also, down in the description, there'll be ways to help the channel. If you'd like to see cooler things on the channel, me expanding, doing a little bit more, definitely check in the description on how you can help the channel more directly. I don't know, PayPal, Patreons, I don't know. But there'll be a link down below. You can email me, reach out personally to help the channel. I really do appreciate it, guys. So Amazon links down below. That's another way to help. Subscribing is free. That's definitely a way to help. Liking, commenting, all these things help. So guys, until the next one, late.